born Charles Dennis Bukinski on November 3, 1921, in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania. Charles Bronson's life began far from the bright lights of Hollywood. He was one of 15 children born to Lithuanian immigrant parents, and hardship was a constant companion in his early years. When his father died, young Charles left school to work in the coal mines, helping his family survive. The mines were unforgiving, dark, dangerous, and physically punishing, but they shaped the quiet endurance that would later define his screen presence. During World War II, he served as a tail gunner in the United States Army Air Forces, flying dangerous missions in the Pacific and earning a Purple Heart. After the war, he used the GI Bill to study art before turning to acting. Like many actors of his era, he changed his surname during the Cold War, adopting Bronson to navigate Hollywood's sensitivities. His rise was slow and steady, built not on flash but on resilience. That resilience would become the foundation of a remarkable career. Breakthrough roles that defined a career. Bronson's early years in film were marked by small roles, but his breakthrough came with ensemble classics that showcased his quiet strength. In The Magnificent Seven, he played Bernardo O'Reilly, revealing a tenderness beneath his rugged exterior. A few years later, in The Great Escape, he portrayed Danny Valinsky, a claustrophobic tunnel digger whose vulnerability gave depth to the action. These performances distinguished Bronson from other tough guy actors. He didn't rely on grand speeches or flamboyant gestures. Instead, he communicated through stillness and subtle emotion. Audiences sensed authenticity in him, perhaps because he truly understood struggle. His characters often carried a silent dignity, shaped by hardship yet capable of compassion. By the mid-1960s, Bronson had established himself as a formidable presence in Hollywood, admired for his restraint and intensity. His performances resonated not because they were loud, but because they felt lived in and real. The vigilante era and international stardom, the 1970s, cemented Bronson's reputation as a leading man. In Death Wish, he portrayed Paul Kersey, a grieving architect who takes a controversial path after tragedy strikes his family. The film struck a chord with audiences navigating a decade marked by social unrest and rising urban crime. While the story sparked debate, it undeniably elevated Bronson to global fame and led to multiple sequels. Earlier, he had found remarkable success in Europe with films like Rider on the Rain, becoming especially beloved in France and Italy. European audiences admired his stoicism and emotional restraint, seeing in him a cinematic anti-hero of almost mythic proportions. Bronson's appeal transcended language. His expressive eyes and controlled presence communicated more than dialogue ever could. By the end of the decade, he was one of the highest-paid actors in the world, proof that quiet intensity could command international acclaim. A love story before fame. Harriet Tendler. Before the fame and red carpets, Bronson's life was grounded by his first wife, Harriet Tendler. They met in 1947 in Philadelphia while studying acting. Both young and ambitious, Harriet believed in him during the years when success seemed distant. She worked to support their household while he pursued auditions and small roles, demonstrating faith in his talent long before Hollywood noticed him. Their marriage, which began in 1949, was built on shared dreams and sacrifice. Together, they raised 2 children, Suzanne and Tony. As Bronson's career gained momentum in the 1950s and early 1960s, the pressures of fame began to weigh heavily on their relationship. By 1965, after more than 15 years together, they divorced. Though their marriage ended, Harriet's influence remained woven into Bronson's story. She had stood beside him during his leanest years, offering encouragement when the future was uncertain. Her early support helped lay the groundwork for the career that followed. Jill Ireland. A partnership in life and film, Bronson's second marriage to Jill Ireland became one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. They met while filming The Great Escape. Though their relationship began later, they married in 1968, forming not just a romantic partnership, but a creative collaboration. Ireland frequently appeared alongside Bronson in films, and their on-screen chemistry mirrored a deep bond off-screen. Together, they raised a blended family of 7 children, often bringing them to filming locations to maintain closeness despite demanding schedules. Their Vermont farmhouse and Los Angeles home became sanctuaries from Hollywood's glare, Ireland's warmth balanced Bronson's reserved nature, and she encouraged him to embrace family life fully. Their marriage was marked by loyalty and shared purpose, offering stability amid the unpredictability of the film industry. For Bronson, who valued privacy and devotion, Jill Ireland was not just a spouse, but a trusted companion and anchor, grace in the face of illness. In the late 1980s, Jill Ireland was diagnosed with breast cancer, a battle she faced with courage and openness. She became an advocate for awareness, sharing her journey publicly and offering hope to others. Bronson, intensely private by nature, stood steadfastly by her side. Friends observed that beneath his stoic exterior was profound devotion. Ireland passed away in 1990, leaving Bronson heartbroken. Her death marked a turning point in his life, and those close to him noted a quieter, more withdrawn demeanor afterward. In 1998, he married Kim Weeks, who had met him while working on recordings of Ireland's memoirs. Their relationship was private and supportive, particularly as Bronson's health declined. Though he remained largely out of the spotlight, those years reflected a man who cherished companionship and family above fame. His later life was less about Hollywood accolades and more about personal connection and reflection, a quiet rivalry with James Coburn among Bronson's professional relationships. His rivalry with James Coburn became the subject of Hollywood lore. The two first worked together on The Magnificent Seven alongside stars like Steve McQueen. Their personalities could not have been more different. Bronson was introspective and intensely focused, while Coburn was charismatic and socially at ease. Industry stories suggest that their contrasting styles led to friction, though neither publicly engaged in open hostility. Bronson valued understatement and discipline, while Coburn embraced flair and humor. Over time, their differing approaches symbolized two philosophies of stardom. Though the rivalry never escalated into public conflict, it reflected the competitive atmosphere of Hollywood's golden era of action cinema. In many ways, their tension was less about personal dislike and more about contrasting temperaments in a business where image and ego often intersected. Later, career and enduring screen presence. Through the 1970s and 1980s, Bronson continued starring in action-driven dramas that reinforced his reputation. Films like The Mechanic showcased his minimalist style. Even as cinematic trends evolved, he remained committed to portraying characters defined by resilience and moral complexity. Many later projects were produced by the Cannon Group, reflecting a shift towards smaller productions, yet his presence never diminished. Audiences continued to associate him with unwavering resolve and quiet authority. Unlike actors who relied on spectacle, Bronson's power came from stillness. A glance, a pause, or a subtle shift in posture conveyed volumes. By the time he stepped away from acting in the late 1990s, he had carved a niche that few could replicate. His body of work stands as a testament to consistency and authenticity in an industry often driven by reinvention. Final years and farewell. Charles Bronson passed away on August 30th, 2003 at Cedars Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. He was 81 years old. His health had declined in his final years, and he had largely withdrawn from public life. Official records cited respiratory failure linked to metastatic lung cancer, along with chronic health conditions. For someone who once embodied rugged vitality, the end came quietly. He was laid to rest in Brownsville Cemetery in West Windsor, Vermont, a place he cherished for its tranquility. Far removed from Hollywood's glamour, the setting reflected his preference for privacy and simplicity. Those who visited his grave often remarked on its modesty, fitting for a man who rarely sought attention beyond his work. His passing marked the end of a 5-decade career that shaped the action genre and left an indelible mark on cinema. The enduring legacy of a stoic icon, Charles Bronson's legacy rests not merely in box office numbers, but in the authenticity he brought to every role. He represented a generation shaped by war, labor, and perseverance. His characters spoke to audiences who valued grit and quiet strength over flamboyance. Off-screen, he was devoted to family and fiercely protective of his privacy. On-screen, he embodied resilience. Decades after his final film, his performances continue to resonate with viewers discovering classic cinema. Bronson's life story, from coal mines to international fame, remains a testament to determination and self-belief. He proved that a man of few words could still command the world's attention, and that true presence often lies in restraint